Rooted in resilience, inspired by nature, powered by movement. The podcast where healing meets empowerment. Let's rise and thrive together. And now, here are your hosts, Scott and Melissa.
Hey, everybody. We just wanted to pop in and let you know about our Sedona Soul Retreat coming up in June of 2026, June 2nd through the 6th in Sedona, Arizona, where we're going to have it at.
The Briar Patch.
This
Beautiful. It's just this amazing little nugget.
Yeah.
In Sedona, where you think the big red rocks, which you'll see those, of course, but then there's this little sanctuary of green. And one of my dear beings that just shared with me this morning that they will be attending, looked it up and was like, "Oh, that's my place."
Yeah.
They just like felt the connection, and it's very spiritual energy there, and we're excited for holding space for all of us to be in that frequency, that vibration.
It's right on Oak Creek, and we were down there just a few weeks ago checking it out to ensure it was the right fit for our folks. And we are excited about this retreat. It's our second retreat, and we're on our way to selling out. So please check it out at Vital Edge Wellness Coaching Wellness Retreats. You'll see it at vitalwellnesscoaching.com, Wellness Retreats, and sign up. Bring a friend. There's plenty of room. If you'd like double occupancy, you can come down, and we have private cottages and a lodge setting. So that's it.
It's exciting.
Enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're started.
Here we are.
Welcome to Rise and Thrive, the podcast by Vital Edge Wellness Coaching. I'm Scott Sadler here with Melissa Hedstrom, and we're going to be talking about the power of the pause today. We've referred to this in previous podcasts. This is a whole podcast on pausing. So let's start with a mindful minute pause with Melissa, who will lead us through a guided practice.
All right. So as most comfortable as you can be in wherever you are at. Cheers. So find a place of comfort, please. Okay. So without closing your eyes, if you prefer, or if you close your eyes, go for it. Let's just take a big sigh to start. And when you sigh, feel the breath press down into the belly versus up into the chest. So invite it to press down to your seat. And then just let it out. Give you little suggestions that are just going to help you and your body come into a state of pause, a little sense of leaning back instead of rushing forward. You're softening the eye, the bridge of your nose, the lips and the jaw, tops of the shoulders. And just notice as you're hearing this, you're feeling in your body a little shift. Just acknowledging, you're simply bringing awareness. That awareness offers you to come into this moment and to pause. So come into the inside now and just feel that gentle movement of breath that's been happening for you all the while, but now you're going to just hang with it for a moment. Sense that gentle rise, expansion. Doesn't have to be deep, just feel it expand. And then feel it soften and drop down. And hang out with that for the next couple moments here. And then I'm going to ask you just for a few more moments, bring that attention a little lower into the belly and acknowledge that you can gently influence the body to breathe from here, feeling that sensation of the inhale and exhale. be a little bit more present down in that space below the rib cage and into the belly a bit. And then inviting that deeper breath again, feeling that gentle pressure down as you inhale. And then as you exhale, just feel this lightness to the heart. Give a little lift. Feel the shoulders drop. And you're welcome to open your eyes if they're closed.
Thank you. It's a very nice pause.
Good. I'm still pausing.
Pauses for his coffee.
Tea.
We're recording early morning, which is not our normal time.
Yes.
So we're going to be sipping more.
I'm having tea though. Taking the coffee already.
Which is a great pause in the morning. So, we've referenced the power of the pause, that phrase frequently. And it is December now, and the hurriedness is in the air for the holidays and the year end and the anticipation of next year and the reflection on the past year. And
all that stuff
we can feel really strung out. And when we talk about our topics, we're pretty organic in our approach for our show. And this is what we're feeling.
Yeah.
And generally, these podcast topics are what our guests are feeling. So we thought we'd talk about that today. And we want to cover a couple different areas, not just the mental stress and strain, but also Melissa's going to talk about the physiological effects of having the pause and of not having the pause. I feel like I work as a mindful practitioner, work pretty diligently to create pause. And I always am in awe of people, or maybe I wonder more than I'm in awe. If people don't have a mindful practice to actually invite pause into their lives, how are they managing their stress and their anxiety? And I guess what's happening in them at a cellular level that allows them to continue, and what's the effect of that, not having that practice baked in?
Well, this leads me to, part of our reasoning of this coming up is I knew we wanted to talk about something about supporting each other in this holiday season, because I got some good feedback on a post I made, which I like to post quotes. That's kind of what I like to do. And the one was that you get to determine how busy December is. And it's funny because I've really connected with that. And just like Scott, I do have a mindfulness practice, but I have also felt myself start to get pulled into it.
Totally, me too.
And so I've been able to observe it. And that's part of our practices together with you and
my
Scott
practice
and I.
becomes light, I feel.
Yeah, I think what I feel is the energy of others that I'm picking up on. And then I'm feeling like, oh, I got to get this done and this is going to be happening and so forth. And so, first of all, we want to establish why does, and Scott already alluded to this, and why does December get that feeling of rush and push and hurry? When I saw that quote, it resonated for me. And when I posted it, it resonated for many others. And so we wanted to talk about that today, to say, you get to decide. And we want to help you walk away today from our podcast empowered to step into the rest of December and into January.
Well, isn't it funny? Because we start anticipating December in September, October.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're not waiting for December to get this anticipation right.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, yeah. But I started noticing, because I wanted to share, and I've shared this already in classes, like I want to honor that there are some people that have very quiet holidays, some people that don't do a bunch of family stuff and those that do. So there's that whole mix. I just want to honor everybody out there. At the same time, even if you are whatever you're doing, it's easy to get the energy and the caught up of the frequency that's around you. So just like, if people talked about going to Costco right now or trying to go do this, it's just like there's more cars, there's more people, there's more to do.
That was me yesterday.
Yeah. And I think about, you said already, the accumulation of year end, all the different things, coming up for yourself in your professional life, your work life, your family life, that's already happening, already overflowing for most of us. And then you add the other demands that come around, not only the frequency of others, but then if you are going to have family events, I was just thinking about it before we started talking, like, I've got some family members that I don't really see the whole entire year. And so bringing that energy back in of engaging with them and conversation and different things, that adds a whole nother layer. Or needing to plan events, or getting, I start to anticipate like ideas for Christmas gifts and things like that for my children. And so a lot of my Christmas gifts take time and effort to do. And so I'm already thinking, okay, how am I going to get this in? We've only got so many days, already full container. I'm going to have some late nights because I'm just going to have to do it. I'm going to have to shut myself in the room and work on my little pieces to my gifts that I'm putting together. So with that said, I'm going to come back to that quote, is I want to empower you, and I've empowered myself, and I have to keep reminding myself about that quote. I get to decide how busy December is. And I've caught myself reading that to myself, like in my head, be like, okay, slow down. And I've felt better by doing that and not allowing the energy and the frequency to then diminish what I love and enjoy so much about the holidays. I mean, I started in October, sorry. I started Christmas music because I love the feeling. And I know that's not for everyone. And I completely honor that. I just love the coziness of the lights and the music and the warmth and all the things that go with it. So,
Can I intervene?
Yeah, because I can keep going, but I was going to talk about.
So I think it's important to acknowledge that as coaches, we know it's not a one size fits all proposition. And with my work with Gallup Strengths and Emotional Intelligence, I know that we have assessments that can gauge how people show up in the world. Short answer, right? Mm-hmm. What my strengths are and how I emotionally respond to stimulus. And so when we talk about this is from our lens as how we show up. I'm an introvert. She's an extreme introvert.
Extreme.
Well,
not what I'm teaching.
No, well, but when it comes to being off teaching, that's a whole other topic.
Whole other dynamic.
We are coming from that place where neither of us, we talk about this, kind of laugh about the fact we don't do well in small talk cocktail party situations. Yeah. Well, because we want to talk about real things, but then there are people. I think about the theme woo in the Gallup Strengths, and my woo is 29 out of 34. Woo people are like, I want to connect you and I want to talk to you over here, and hey, let's do this. And I can't wait for the party. That is not me. That's not Melissa. But those folks are really important. I need woo people in my life, right? So if you're a woo, if you're a person just, I can't wait for the holidays and all the hustle and bustle and the go, we honor that.
Yeah.
You also need a pause. Your pause will look different than our pause. So I want to make sure we're being very real that our comments come from who we are and how we show up.
That, and acknowledging our clients that we are working with that have that different, like, when you said about the cocktail parties or the smaller, like, something I've come to realize too is, especially, and this is just a side little note, I have a family member struggling with advancing dementia. And, that thought about going and having the same conversation several times. And I had to remind myself that when you spend time with something, it isn't about the conversation. It's spending time with someone. So I think about some people really thrive on the kind of cocktail parties where you're just kind of covering the surface stuff and you're really sharing each other's energy. And it just dawned on me as you were talking, like, oh yeah, maybe that's, and for us being more on the introvert side, we crave a little bit more one-on-one, smaller groups and deeper talking that helps us to feel more safe and grounded in that way. So I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, we're touching base through our lens, and then knowing that we all carry this different dynamic of what's feeding us. At the same time, there is something just universal about November, December, you hear a lot about it in business too, that everything just kind of stalls out, especially December 25th, January 13th. The medical clinic I used to contract, they closed that week.
Yeah.
That was like everything's
more and more businesses are doing that.
And so not necessarily a bad thing. What we want, again, is to support you to tap into what are your strengths and what is your way to how are you showing up in the world, and how can it, the month of November, December, nourish you versus deplete you. And that's where we came up with the pause. And this is not just for November, December, it's forevermore. At the same time, when Scott was alluding to talking about physiological, right? We know if we're trying to pile more on already on top of a stress load or a heavy load, the body sees that as overwhelm. And the nervous system, many of you have heard of fight, flight, or freeze, right? And we don't know that's going on in the background. Maybe we do, but not the kind where you're running from a tiger, but this kind of chronic hum. And then we add going out into the world with cars going by and more happening and people getting the sales and the emails, the incessant emails, right? All the different stuff coming and not putting that down. That's just, it's energy, right? There's more. And so that could either take your system into overdrive stress or, oh, I like this. This is feeding me, right? Or it's somewhere in between for all of us. So I want you to walk away today. Again, I keep saying that with some really ways to say, hey, let me pause and notice. Is this feeding me right now? Am I enjoying this? Like when I think about, I want to enjoy thinking about showing my love to my children and people in my life for Christmas. To me, that's what it's about. It isn't like, I gotta go get a gift. That's really, I've shifted that for myself. That's been my personal view. And so I want to enjoy that. And so I know if I'm picking up on the nervousness and stress and the push of timelines and I got to get this done, I've found myself remembering that quote. I get to decide how busy December is going to be. And I can start to say, maybe this isn't going to get done right now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And
I think there's so much. I mean, you just gave so much we can drill down on. The pause isn't necessarily stop doing this and start doing this for the pause. This pause can be just a breath in between what you're currently doing. Busy environment. For me, I've been working a lot on, oh my gosh, I've been working so much on my tech stack and rearranging and dropping software and adding software and really becoming efficient. And it is so draining. Such draining work for me to be in front of the computer for that long. And you can't really step away at certain times. You just got to be there for it. So sometimes you got to be in it. But I always have a goal that when I can get to a point, in this case, downloads and uploads and troubleshooting, where I can step away, I'm going to extend a pause. I'm going to get on my mat. I'm going to take Mia out to the park for a lot longer walk in the trees. Sometimes you have to plan the pause. And sometimes when you're in the middle of, like I talked about my stressors of the computer stuff, I got to take those mini pauses and then get the longer pauses. So it's a very dynamic kind of approach. There isn't necessarily, I mean, I want to bake in strategic pauses like my meditation every morning and my unwind every night and less screen time. But also you will get caught up in the world that you just described because that's the world we're living in. We're like fish in water. We can't not be in the water. And social media is another I want to talk about before we're done today, about how that accelerates us. I guess what I'm saying is have a practice and then bring that micro practice into your ongoing busyness.
And to add to that, the why is it's not to slow down necessarily. It's not thinking pause is unproductive. It's not disengaging. It's not saying, oh, this is too much, I can't do it anymore. The pause literally is for your health and well-being of this human body that is navigating all of this. When I said fight or flight earlier, if you're in this constant urgent rush, or you're in front of the computer and the tension is building, or you're just feeling this, your shoulders are in your ears and you don't even realize it. The nervous system is wired for protection. Up goes your stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, all that stuff, and it wears on your body. So when Scott's talking about a pause in front of, I know he's hours in front of the computer. I mean, I couldn't handle it.
I literally had to get up at 3 a.m. and go work in my office the other day. This is the cortisol.
Right.
Because my mind wouldn't stop about what I needed to do. And I'm laying there trying to sleep, and I know myself. I finally just got up. And so I worked from 3 a.m. until 5 a.m. and went back to bed because I had to get that out. I'm not trying to hijack your direction. It's much totally. To explain a real life situation where the cortisol would not stop. I could have, I mean, this has been a long time ago, but I used to get up when that would happen and go for 3 a.m. run, 3 to 5 miles at night because I couldn't sleep if I didn't.
You had to burn it up.
Because I was not pausing enough throughout the day to allow it to not flood me.
Well, and for the specific, I would say, if we be real, the specific instant, you've been very dedicated. And like you said, sometimes when you're trying to make a shift
Obsessed, you mean?
Obsessed. You're trying to make a shift that you are ultimately to the greatest good for you future-wise with cleaning it up, making it more, you have to be in it. And so that's why the 3 a.m. probably happened, because your pauses weren't as accessible in the last handful of days. So your body's like, I just need to get this out.
Well, and there's a sense of excitement in there too for me for the future.
Because of the relief.
Because I know this will pay off.
Right.
But I could not. There are people who live in that.
Oh, yeah, 24/7.
That's their role, right? Yeah. Just making that statement.
So coming back to the connecting, that is that nervous system, why you would do those pauses within your moments, because you'll actually be more productive. You'll be more clear when you can help your body re-regulate, just like we did at the beginning. Drop your shoulders, just this action here. And when I had you breathe down in here versus up here, your body's getting a signal that, oh, we're okay. So all those, the inflammatory markers and everything can start to we're okay. We don't have to be on high alert. So digestion is better. Your mood is better. All those good things that help us to navigate the higher energy of this time, especially if we're navigating additional stuff on top of trying to do it all at this time. There's a lot of, what do you want to say, accumulation or almost a bottleneck that's happening at this time before we come out.
Well, and that's just task-oriented stressors. That doesn't even begin to think about or talk about the emotional stressors in people's lives, what they have going on with family members or children or financial concerns or health,
So we can just honor all of that with everybody, that we all have those unique compilations. This is where we share that what we're offering is moments for you to come into your body, to breathe, to help you connect with this powerful thing called the nervous system. Because you have direct influence to support your body, to self-soothe, to recalibrate, to be able to handle and face and be with all the different things you're doing. If we put this pressure on ourselves that I got to do more at the next shiny thing, or I'm adding this to, especially come January, that'll be another topic we get to from the New Year's thing. It's a hot topic for me, is that many of those things are going to be not very effective or supportive to you if you're not addressing that your background nervous system is not feeling some sense of okayness. And that's where the breath comes in. Well, I mean, when I'm charting, I share this often. When I chart my medical charting that I do, I stop breathing and I get tense. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to become aware of that, to just, because I just want to get it done, or it's something I want to get off my list. So I'm like, can I just be with it? Turn on some good Christmas music, breathe here, enjoy the process versus fight the process. And so that's what a little bit of nervous system regulation can do for each of us. So Scott mentioned about having these mindfulness practices. Yes, we want to support those. And that's why we have come together to support community and help people know that it doesn't mean you have to take umpteen hours. It could be little moments. And as you do these little moments, more of those things will show up for you because you'll start to direct your body's like, oh, I want more of that.
You know what I noticed is the testimonials, both written and video, that came out of our retreat in Mexico. The common theme, the thing that every participant said was, I didn't know I needed the reset that I got. And this is why Vital Edge exists, is to help people in that process. And to do that, sometimes you've got to step away and be in a different environment that opens up your senses to different things. And maybe less screen time is helpful, which it was. And so think about that too. When you talk about the power of the pause, sometimes we need a jump start. Attend one of our retreats. We have one coming up in Sedona in June 2026. And we'd love for you to experience what past participants have experienced. And we love witnessing this transformation that occurs because you carry that back. I've talked to several folks who've come out of that retreat and said, oh, I'm doing this. And I remember Melissa making this comment. I remember Scott's story about this. And it is amazing to see what happens. And then you have the backdrop of obviously Xianalani in Mexico in this case. And this time it's going to be the Briar Patch Inn in the desert. You bring those nature components back, those memories back that create new pathways in the brain to have a better sense of when you bring in the power of the pause. So step away once in a while.
You got to give your body that experience to know what a pause means, especially if you're in it all the time. And just like you said earlier, some people don't have that access. They don't realize there is possibility. There's reset feelings that they could have. And so that's your exposure of, the body has to have experience, and you have to have it where your body feels safe and it feels that you're giving it space to do that. And that's part of the stepping out.
You know, it's a great, I'm sorry. Go
ahead.
Well, animals provide me an opportunity. You said pause, and I saw pause. And so it's the power of the pause. And I saw Mia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a correlation between the word pause and dog pause or cat pause that I realized I get little pauses because Mia will come in when I'm in my office for too long and she'll like, come on,
yeah.
Let's go. You need you out of here. And sometimes she's rather playfully aggressive with me to get me to play and engage. And it cracks me up. It cracks me up. And it makes me pause and be in the moment with this beautiful soul because it's my spirit animal. And I know you have the same with Martin and
I'm laughing,
Bailey.
I'm smiling because I was mentioning this to you, that literally have a client that I was coaching on Friday, and with all the stuff we talked about and everything, we literally paused. I had her go into her body and say what was most relevant. Yes.
Relevant.
Thank you. I was like, that word didn't sound right when it came out. Relevant for her to take moving forward. And we had discussed a lot of things in her session. And it was when she paused in that moment, she was like, I think it's that. And what she connected, the reason why I was thinking about the pause is what she connected is you just see her face light up when she talks about her animals. They're unconditional love for her. They are warmth and comfort and ease. And what we connected the dots in her session that when her dog comes up and cuddles with her, she gives herself permission to pause because she is feeling that I'm doing a task right now. I'm loving on my dog. So that's a task. So we're realizing that that's okay. You have permission without that. At the same time, we can now bring that nourishing intention and attention that when you are with your animals, you are replenishing yourself. And that can be your pause, part of your pause. Absolutely. And it gives, you hear people say, well, I can't get up, the cat, I can't. I've had another client share that. She's like, the cat, I can't get up. I know Martin, everybody that comes to my yoga classes and comes to my sessions or has appointments with me knows Martin. He always comes in. He knows his entry when the camera goes on. He's a loving cat, but he can't quite relax. He feels like he's got to be. At the same time, if I'm sitting on the couch, which is rare that I'm there for, he jumps up and he wants to get as close as possible. And I don't know what we're doing for a minute, but then I just have to push him down, help him settle. He's always purring. He's already purring. But then I let him, and then he relaxes and he wants to stay there for a while. And it gives me permission to be like, okay, I'm going to pause for a moment. I can't go anywhere. I'm going to because if you've heard the purr frequencies, and that was one of my client also mentioned that a previous cat that they'd had, she knew when she was not feeling like she wanted to go to work, this she's in another job and that kind of stuff. She's like, oh, I don't feel good or whatever. She would know if it was really legit, if a particular cat out of her 2 cats was on her bed. One cat would only get on her bed when she was sick or about to get sick. So
helping her understand the need for the pause.
Right. And that's what this is a great segue. As Scott mentioned at the beginning, I was going to talk about what happens if you don't. The getting sick, the stress load, the depletion in your body, the constant run of those higher stressed hormones in your body. The body wasn't meant for that. The tissues were not meant to house that condition for long, steady periods of time like we put it under. So
which has become kind of the society fabric now.
Right. And that's hence why this birthed from us doing a podcast to doing our retreats. And then, we both have our private practices, and I've got out right now, holiday special, along with everybody else. But I have 3 self-care Saturdays, and Scott's doing one of them with me. And a couple other healers are guiding me and helping me along the way for 3 of them next year. And this is where, when people have not been able to quite be ready for a longer stint retreat, getting it into their life, most people that start here work their way to more because they realize. So I have a mini 4-hour retreat to start to expose your body and your nervous system to, like I said a minute ago, you have to give your body experiences that it feels okay, feels safe, it can breathe. And the more you do that, I love watching in my clients, I'm sure you get to watch it too, is as they spend more time with you in these practices, they start to have new wiring where they're able to tap into that for themselves.
Yeah, I'll take it another step. So many of my clients come to me to solve this, and then they don't understand that when we talk about this power of the pause, whether it be nature, they already know that's what they need, but they don't know how to express what they need. And so we want to solve for this through this other whatever. I'm using these because there's so many different versions, but I think getting back to nature, you were talking about animals, but you get the same effect from trees or running water, still water, anything in nature, even looking at the ground, right? I have an exercise I've put my nature coaching clients through. I'll have them just stare at a 1 foot by 1 foot patch of ground for a period of time and to mentally note everything in that. And pretty soon people are like, they're all of a sudden in this different world, and you're forced to pause and look at something outside of yourself that is nurturing, right? These are some of the tools we use with our folks and for ourselves. Animals, nature, less screen time, movement is exceedingly important. I notice it when I don't move. I get sore when I don't move versus avoiding being sore to move. Nourishment, right? Huge topic that we're always talking about. I'm always learning something from Melissa new about putting more of or less than in my body, what it is. So that is a focus we don't talk often enough about when it comes to, I've mentioned before, and I know we're coming to the end of our time, but I've mentioned before about my area of work when it comes to mindfulness is my mindful eating, because I'm used to eating over a garbage can in the restaurant days, and that still stays with me. So there's always opportunities to pause in between the things that we're doing.
Well, and I want to just connect the dots, what Scott said when many people come to him for coaching. And this is in general in life. We think we need to fix A, B, and C, what we can tangibly touch 1, 2, and 3. We can see it. And when we get to have time with people, we get to the underlying, the other pieces. And when we bring that connection, and it isn't us just putting a cookie cutter thing on you, it's finding what resonates with your particular body and your nervous system. And when we come in from that side, that we start to nourish that, guess what? A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3 get solved.
Yeah. Symptoms go away.
The different things get it. So it's realizing that when we think it's, especially when it's coming to, I'm sure, like when you first start with people in corporate or right, they come with specific numbers and they want this goal and they have this, but then you get to it and you're like, well, look at where we're going to come. Emotional intelligence. We're going to see what are people's strengths. Well, guess what? That. And so really when we come into the pause, think of this personally for yourself. Your pause is to connect with all of that quiet space that will access what you're looking for, what you're seeking in answers or direction. And so do know that, I love this quote, the peace, P-E-A-C-E, is in the pause. And so moving forward, we want to ask you, one, to join us for retreats, of course. Keep watching our podcasts, share it, like it, comment on it. And we want you to walk away today saying, hey, I can pause. I get to choose how busy December is internally. And that leads to externally. And I can carry that forth into every time and season.
Not only that, but when you start to pause, people around you start to pause. And
you lessen the frequency of.
People will say, you seem different, you've changed, or maybe some other descriptors. So we'll leave you with that. We're going to step aside and pause ourselves, and we'll let you digest this. And we hope you have an amazing holiday season. If you're watching this in the summer later, we hope you had.
Or you plan for the next one coming.
They're always coming. They're always coming. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in today, and take care of each other. And of course, don't forget to take care of yourself. We'll see you next time here on Rise and Thrive.
Namaste.
Thanks for tuning in to Rise and Thrive, a podcast by Vital Age Wellness Coaching. If you found this episode meaningful, please rate, review, and share it with someone who might need it. For upcoming retreats and to join the Vital Edge Wellness community, head to vitaledgewellnesscoaching.com. Let's rise and thrive together.